What's up, everybody? This is Hush, aka How You Stop Him, aka Unstoppable Hush, aka Voice of Reason. And this is Tell It How It Is, No Filter, episode 128 on Monday, August 2nd, 2021. As you know, I always start with how's everybody. It's repetitive, right? So, all is well. I'm putting that in the air. I'm not asking no more, how's everybody? And I hope you this and everything is good, right? If you're able to watch this, you're tuning in or listening, you are good. You are good. I'm sending positive vibes your way. Your weekend was good. The start of your week is great. Let's continue on that vibe. As for me, I'm good. If I'm able to sit here and do this and engage, that must mean I'm okay. In life, things can always be better, but is that us being greedy or selfish? Life itself, once you wake up, should be admired. If that makes sense. You woke up, I woke up. We can work from there. Understand? So positive vibes your way, and I hope you sending it my way. But even if you're not, I'm good. Right. Right to it. Another thing I'm gonna change up a little bit is the current events because it's a little conceited of me to feel like I'm really out there where if I do current events, everyone will see it and grasp it at the time. Because if you don't, what's the point? If my last episode I did had current events, which you have not seen yet, do they still matter as events? Absolutely. But why call it current events? Just speak on it. I'm going to just speak on things that I feel at the time. That I do anyway with the rest of the pod. So, it doesn't really matter. So, let's not label them current events. Label them my thoughts. Because, again, if you're in the news and media for real, like on television, and you're these big commentators and announcers or whoever you want to call them, you are seeing live footage probably. You're seeing something that's actively happening. Or, if you go back and check it, it's still worldwide. I won't minus or minimize or devalue my platform because it don't matter how many people listen or watch. I still put myself as if I'm worldwide. You feel me? That's just a self-confidence, self-engaging confidence, self-feeling like the importance is heavy. So, I'll just speak on things. We won't label them. Got it? All right. Yesterday was the season finale of The Chi. Oh, hear me doing current it again. Who cares what yesterday was? Again, if you don't see this right away. Again, the finale of The Chi. They have 4 seasons, 38 episodes. I've been watching. I don't know if you've been watching. It's a show that I enjoy. The Chi should be self-explanatory, based out of Chicago. For as far as season finales go, I liked it. I don't really want to give it away, but I liked it. I think as far as season finales go, again, that they did well. You know what I mean? Because it's a lot of pressure to end the season and leave everyone satisfied. There's questions. There's things we want to know. The last case in point was the Snowfall finale. That was dope as well. So I'm just going to leave it as I dig it. I have no criticism for it, really. You may have a different input on that. Can't wait till it returns. There are questions I do have. But for the most part, I enjoyed it. Power, Raising Kanan. They're about a couple episodes in. Again, I'm speaking my thoughts, so there's no need for specifics. It has its... You see, it's about the message they're trying to send. It has interest. It has my attention. Does it keep my attention the entire episode? Sometimes it drifts off a little bit. But that's just me. It's not enough to turn away from it, though. So let's see. I'm gonna assume... That's a wild thing to do these days. I'm going to assume that in Power Book 2, the one with Mary J. and Method Man, that season was 10 episodes. So the assumption will lead me to say that Raising Kanan will also be 10 episodes. I'm not sure. Maybe you could Google that and find out that it's not or it is. So I feel like they don't want to get to the plot too fast. Power itself has 6 seasons. You know, the original one before they even started these spin-offs. So, for those who don't know, Power grabbed the attention back with, you know, the story was behind Ghost and Tasha and, you know, his lifestyle, her lifestyle, and his, I guess you want to say high school crush or whatever with Angie. So, and it pretty much goes from there. Everybody's life is separate differently. You know, Angie became a cop or an enforcement, and, you know, Ghost seems business type but has some dirt. Tasha is like hood mixed with somewhat business minded. Ghost's friend Tommy seems to be all street. You know, Kanan is mixed in there as well. So the Power story I found interesting from the jump, and now they have these spin-offs. So if you want to follow it, and shout out to 50 because his hands is all the way in these things. And for an artist such as myself, that is just gratifying that we can use our minds and step outside our first love, which that being music. And I'm assuming for 50, that's his first love. Again, it's an assumption. Anyway, I salute it and continue to do you. There's talks about the Shy and Snowfall slightly surpassing the Power vibe. And that's on you to decide whether you agree or not agree. I think Snowfall is freaking dope. So it's definitely arguable. But we'll wait. Because now we have to wait for Snowfall and the Shy. I feel like Snowfall will return first. Since it ended first. So that's that with that. Again. It's not current. It's just my thoughts. Jalen Rose was on the Breakfast Club. Shout out the Breakfast Club, Charlemagne, Envy, and Yee. One of the conversations was about the tension between him and Chris Webber, which I wasn't even familiar with. It goes back to around 2003. Something to do with Michigan and the Fab Five. Now, I don't know what, you know, if you ever saw the movie Blue Chips, that signifies basketball with people accepting bribes and money under the table. Because, you know, you don't get money in basketball until you go to college. I mean, until you go to the NBA. My apologies. So some of these players feel like they should earn prior to that. So whether that's right or wrong or how you call that, ethical, however. So this Fab Five situation, it seems like it's an example of this. People accepting bribes or, you know, money, any kind of money exchange whatsoever. So whatever that tension was, whatever that disagreement was. It seems like they're coming to terms now. An example that Jalen gave was at his mom's funeral. Chris Webber's parents were there, and he made a good point not to just bring that up as a event. It's true. When people have so much history, 10, 15 years together, plus or more, and it's so, y'all was so tight at one point, or y'all was so engaged that there's other mutual people involved. So it is crazy, as he said, to like be at something like a funeral and your parents are there, but I'm not chopping it with you. I get that angle of what he was trying to say. So to give advice to people out there, you don't have to be famous. You don't have to know 1,000,000 people. Because you don't have to know 1,000 people. If you have any bonds with people that used to be tight and it can be resolved, a lot of people are stubborn today. You know, life is short, and, you know, people are taking things literally. Like, you know, if there's a sign showing that I shouldn't be. My apologies, there's a message that I was reading. If there's signs shown that I shouldn't be no longer cool with this person, and I selfly feel that that much damage has been done, that I should remove myself. But again, to Jalen's point, if family members are still, you know, they interact or they care and they, you know, they show it, you know, they do things, because, you know, just because individuals have a difference, you know, the other mutual people may not, you know, deal with that or include themselves in that. So the point is, if y'all have a group of people or some important members that still interact, that consider each other family, you may want to consider that in your decision making on how to move. That's all I'll say on that. Malice at the Palace. Anybody's a basketball head like myself, we know what that was. That's Detroit Pistons versus the Pacers in a very emotional. That game anyway. That was in 2015, December 6th. They are doing a doc on it. The doc is called Untold. It's a bunch of other stories involved, but Malice at the Palace will be one. And basically, this is two teams squaring off where a lot of tension was in the air, basically from the start of the game to me. Ron Artest was on the Pacers and Ben Wallace is on the Pistons. It pretty much started with them. You need to check it out. I mean, even before the doc come out, just to familiarize yourself with the game itself, you can see what's going on. I'm looking forward to that doc. There was, you know, a fight broke out where fans was involved. A fan threw a beer at Ron Artest. He went in the stands, as well as some other teammates, and it was like an all-out brawl. They were all suspended. I mean, excessive suspensions were handed out. 30 games, 3 mil, or 30 mil. It was crazy. You know, it was like, you know, to them, they felt like, you know, because Steven Jackson was on Breakfast Club as well. He felt, you know, the way he was talking was like, you know, that's like if I get a ticket for like my inspection on the car being expired, and you like revoke my license and I got 30 days in jail, it was excessive like that, to that extreme, because that was back then. Today, I don't know if it goes that same way, as he said in the Breakfast Club. Everything I mentioned you can check out for yourself. Again, it's not current, it's just events, period, and my thoughts. So I gave you the Shy, Power, Snowfall. The Breakfast Club has a YouTube channel. You can check out everybody they interviewed. Like I said, I mentioned Jalen Rose and Steven Jackson. Both Hall of Fame, to me, type players. So this Malice at the Palace Untold will be on Netflix as a doc. That's it as far as my thoughts with those things. I know I stopped it abruptly. The USA Team Olympics, they are in the quarterfinals and they're facing Spain next. They're going for the gold medal. It's a very simple breakdown that I didn't understand at first. So the Olympics, once the real shit starts kicking, you know, you do your preliminary round to get seeding. You know, you're placed in a group, and it's 3 teams in the group. Maybe 4. I think it's 4 teams in the group. I'm sorry. It's 4 teams in a group. It's 3 groups. That's 12 teams. So everybody plays each other once. Whoever has the better records or place. So, you know, if you beat everybody, you're first, 3-0. Then there's 2-1, there's 1-2, there's 0-3. It could play out however way. Either way, 4 teams, 3 groups. The first place teams of each group advance automatically. The second place team of each group advances automatically. Then the 2 best third place teams advance. So now that's 8 teams remaining out of the 12. They start the shit. The playoffs that we call in the US, in the NBA, this is what's going on now. So it's no best of 7, no best of 5. However we do it over here, that's not how they do it there. It's like football. If you watch football in the playoffs, you won and done. You win or you go home. There's no home court. There's no, all right, we'll get them next time. So this is where they're at now. So there's the gold game where if you make it to that game, the loser gets the silver medal. There's the bronze game is after that, where the 2 remaining teams that, you know, did they thing sort of, they compete for the 3rd place. So there's gold, silver, bronze. U.S. is always favored to get the gold. We've just always been that. We always been put on that type of pedestal that we're supposed to rock out from the time it first started. I don't remember the exact start. I remember 92. Did it start before that? Possibly. I'd have to Google that. I don't, you know, again, this is about what I think. So 92 with Jordan and all that. So from then, I know that we're the favorite always. Today is a little different because a lot of NBA players are playing for their countries, respectively. Like, I'm a huge Luka Doncic fan. He's on the Mavericks, but he's playing for Slovenia. Can I root for them? Per se, I'm U.S., but I'm not mad at him because that's his country, and I fuck with him heavy. But I'm getting besides myself here. Scratch all that. That's where it's at. Good luck. We'll see what happens. Last thing on Steven Jackson, when he's on the Breakfast Club, he would never have wanted to be on the Team Olympics because he's kind of like in his feelings, and I'm not saying it in a funny way, about how they treat us over here. So why go play for them? That was a good point, and I respect his view on that because, you know, you represent where you feel loved. You know what I'm saying? That's probably could be the reason why these NBA players who are from other countries play for their country. Because, you know, NBA is a business at the end of the day. But if I could go rep from where I'm really from, where they show me love, why not? You know what I'm saying? That's all of that. So now getting into my meat and potatoes. Of course, I've spoke on something similar like this before. But is sex equal amongst life partners? People who are really going the long way, the long haul. That's, you know, either been together for a nice long time. They're getting to that. That's their goal. You know, because with a partnership like that, of that magnitude, your life partner, there are a lot of I's dotted and a lot of T's crossed that y'all gonna have to deal with, engage, and face together. The good, the bad, the ugly. Kids, no kids, etc. So there's so many other things on the plate that there's no excuse to try to minimize or say it's not as important when it comes to the sex. Yet I don't want you to feel like you should put sex before all these other things I just mentioned. Everything should have an equal sort of balance and importance in getting through this whole life with this partner that you want to be with for the rest of your life. So Is it equal? Equality is a sensitive issue because there's a lot of things that aren't equal. And some things are not in control to be equal. If you think you and your partner gonna make the same amount of dollars to the T? I make 50,000, she make 50. Like, you know what I mean? It's not gonna be equal. But it's not something you should really dwell on. It's just a question I have. So we know the salary may not be equal. It gets complicated from there if you want to let it. So I'm not, but I was just at one. So let's go back to the sex thing. The point of saying that is to say, which I don't justify any longer. Look at me, Malcolm X, the new me. Anyway, I say that to say, is that the reason that side partners and non-committed interactions are more satisfying when it comes to sex? Because one, if it's a side partner, you're not supposed to be doing that. Allegedly, it's for whoever to decide what you should be or should not be doing. But I know the thrill comes from if you think that you know you're not supposed to be doing this stuff and y'all get together, you and the side partner, that's all, people create illusions around it to say it's more than sex because they click or they think they click. It's an escape. It's when you just, need a break from the norm. There's all these excuses and thought to be justifiable reasons for these encounters, and each his own. Let you be great. But that is why the sex may appear to be equally satisfying, especially if the side partner has someone as well. But it doesn't have to be the case, but it can play a role. So the point is, that's when you have to decide before it gets to that, how important that is. Because I think people are just crying out for help secretly, and it's not a stab at you. You know what I mean? I've been there. Where you don't want it to appear that that's all that matters, but it's huge, especially if you have a high appetite. So when you do it, it looks selfish. It is. Maybe it's argued, oh, it's selfish. Especially if your life partner is not engaging. But how do you win this? Not even win this. How do you conquer this? Because if your partner doesn't have a high need like you, it sucks because they won't step out because they probably don't step out anyway. But if you can't even relate because their appetite's not as high, and if it was, y'all would get it on more, and then there would really be no need for this conversation. But if theirs is a little bit lower than yours, it sucks but it's not something you can't overcome. It sucks because they wouldn't do them anyway, and now they really wouldn't do them when it come to that because they good. When y'all do perform, they're good with that schedule. Is it good for you? And if it's not, I don't mean to smile about it. It's not funny. You have to find ways outside of the easy, just side partner in it. That's not a word, but I'm just saying, going out there is really detrimental to shit just to satisfy an itch. But this itch shouldn't be ignored. You find other ways. Some people can hit the gym. Is masturbation a throwback, an old thing, a phased out thing where we don't masturbate anymore? And that's man or woman. Do we not do that? Does that sound weird even saying that? Does that feel uncomfortable throwing on? Because today technology is, I think that's the convenience of it, really, because back then, you had to have the videotape or the DVD, throw it in there and do you. Now, if you have a smart TV, pretty much the access to it is way easier than when that was a thing, if ever it was a thing. Some people are in denial of that. So the access is crazy. So you need to just go do you sometimes. And not really make a mental thing about this, because a lot of the things we do are mental, meaning we feel shortchanged, not violated. If this is our life partner, we should really give a lot of the benefit of the doubt that there's nothing going on that our partner is doing purposely to make us uncomfortable or not satisfied. It's just some things just go the way they go. So it's a lot to unpack. And again, that's why I'm not sitting here ever, try not to, and go through easy topics like, life today, there's nothing easy. So I really couldn't even think of an easy one. Like, okay, if someone's abusive, what do you do? And even that's not easy, because they say leave, report it, whatever. But even that's not easy for the person going through it. So life is about trying to just dissect things where we can do better, try to do better, and resolve some of the issues that we may have. It's complicated. Some people don't want to hear it. Not to get personal or take it personal, I chalk up the fact of my views or lack of views thereof is because I'm unpacking shit people don't want to face. And, they don't want to deal with. Because even though I start every segment with, I'm sending you positive vibes, when I start really talking, it's some deep shit. You know what I mean? So you got to really take it easy. Again, this is why people feel like they could justify it. If we go back to the subject, like I said, is sex equal amongst our life partners? If it's not, what do we do? And I gave my little advice. I don't know if you need to speak to somebody if you're against the masturbation part, because I feel like, how much unequal is it? And it's a mental thing, really, when you think about how unequal it is, because you're a couple. You got to think about the good parts of it. You're a couple. Y'all are spending the rest of your life together, hopefully. There's plenty time for all that. I think sex is a momentary thing. Meaning, when you want it, when you crave it, when you lust for it or whatever, it's in the moment. Sex is not a life thing. Sex is in a moment thing, which is needed a lot of moments. Don't get it twisted. It's not like you're supposed to be designed to go however length of time without. I'm just saying it's isolated when I call it a moment. It's a moment of pleasure that's needed in the mind. Is it really needed if it wasn't mental? Yes. I think that's been squared a long time ago. So, again, but listen, it's difficult. You got to just get through it. You know what I mean? Like, if you, again, life partner, not someone that you're still not sure about. Because I can tell you, if you're not 100% sure, and this is a topic in a not sure situation, it's going left. This side partner thing is almost definite. Now, let me touch real quick before I get out of here on the same type of shit when I say side partners or people who aren't in committed relationships with their life partner and they're just out there dating or whatever. So I think even in those cases, you're getting more satisfying sex because, again, if you're not looking for the home run, the lifelong right now, people don't want to face the truth. If that's not what you're doing, yeah, you can say, oh, this person's cool. I could chop it with them. We have fun together. We just hang out, probably get something to eat, probably have a few drinks, and then we fuck. You know what I'm saying? And they try to justify that as some type of meaningful, I won't say relationship. I'm trying to find a word that doesn't put the pressure of relationship, because it's not, but it's some kind of a form of a relationship that people are naive about. That's kind of like driving any car you want without your name on it. I probably went way left with that. There's no pressure. You know what I mean? There's no real work you got to put in. Y'all are surviving off of the moment as well. And people are pretty simplistic when they think that that's the most important thing. So now, if there's no pressure of a relationship and y'all like the same things, because a lot of people like the same things, does that mean that they'll get along as life partners? No, it goes deeper than that. But there's a lot of people who you could put a man and a woman in any situation. If both men and women like the Olympics, they get together, they can watch that. If both of them like drinking, you don't even have to like the same drinks. Y'all can watch the Olympics with separate drinks, have sex, and think that that's a bond. Because there's no pressure for it to be anything bigger than that. So those type of situations can last a minute. But somebody gets frustrated eventually to say, I want more. Till next time, let's talk on that some more. Y'all be safe.